Well, one thing I never thought of, maybe stupidly so, is how vulnerable everything is because you're going into people's homes and they're in crisis and they're inviting you in and you see their bath towels on the floor and you see their piles of laundry and their high school yearbook photos and the macaroni and cheese in the kitchen, and you're just in people's lives.
Yep.
And you're seeing them oftentimes at their very worst. And it really got my heart to kind of witness that.
This episode of EMS One-Stop is brought to you by Lexipol, the experts in policy, training, wellness support and grants assistance for first responders and government leaders. To learn more, visit lexipol.com. That's lexipol.com.
All we want to do is save your life. Some of you don't make it easy.
Hello and welcome back to another edition of EMS One-Stop. I'm your host, Rob Lawrence. You'll remember a few weeks ago I interviewed Patrick Pianezza, who was the writer of Code 3, the movie about life on the street and life of paramedic Randy, portrayed by Rainn Wilson. Well, I had the chance this week to catch up with Rainn and talk about his role in the movie, and more importantly, what he took away from just being a part of our lives for the time that they were making the movie, and obviously the impact that the movie's having. So let's go to my interview with Rainn.
Hello there.
Good morning, sir. How the devil are you?
Oh, wow. I didn't expect an English accent to pop up.
I'm actually from LA, London area. There we go. So, no, thank you, Rainn. Thank you so much for joining me. I want to just let you know that I was the guy 2.5 years ago that helped Sam Baldoni find Lifeline Ambulance when he called me up to say, do I know anybody that can help us?
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much.
I've been with this journey now for 2.5 years. So this really is just the apex of just being a very small part of leading you to Lifeline, to Danielle Thomas and everything else. So I'm excited to chat to you. So
amazing.
Thank you. We are recording, so just to let you know, This is for EMS One. So tomorrow it'll go out in the news shot to about 250,000 medics and EMTs. So obviously they're waiting to hear the wise words of Rainn Wilson and your journey through this. So let's get going if you're okay.
Please.
Thank you. So, Rainn, thank you so much, first of all, for joining us on the EMS One-Stop, on EMS One. Let's go back to the beginning. Obviously, Chris Leone, Patrick Pianezza created this script based on life on the streets. When you first read the script, what were your initial thoughts?
Well, my first thoughts were, this script is way too long. The script I got was about 180 pages, and usually a script needs to be about 100, 110 pages. So it was like sizably too long. There were multiple stories that didn't make it into the movie. But I loved it from the get-go. I loved the characters. I loved the breaking the fourth wall, talking to the camera. I loved how gritty it felt. It felt funny, but it didn't feel like a studio comedy, it didn't feel like a Will Ferrell or Kevin Hart comedy. It felt like a grounded comedy. And most of all, I just fell in love with the character of Randy and, what he was going through, his burnout, his drive, his passion, and the way he sabotages himself. I thought it was amazing.
And you brought Patrick and Chris's character to life, and of course I've been monitoring prior to it coming out all of the social media, and I actually wrote the review, and what you've done is captured us, Rainn, so thank you for doing that, because everybody relates to it. I've heard you on press junkets and interviews now talking about the fact that everybody can relate to the character that you've portrayed. How does that make you feel that you've caught us?
Well, that has been a revelation. First of all, I learned so much. I had no idea. I'm just this dumb, actor in the suburbs trying to, play characters, and like what paramedics go through, all the EMS workers, frontline workers, the dysfunction that's there, the bravery that's showed, the disrespect that's showed, the disintegration between, the EMS, EMTs, and then the ERs, and then surgery and hospital administration and insurance companies, and like these kind of all these just different fractured fiefdoms going on. But, you know, bottom line, the fact that first responders are getting basically what people who work at Starbucks are getting paid really blew my mind. And as I've been talking about that on talk shows to millions of people, people's jaws are dropping. They're like, really? I had no idea. Like, these are the people that we put in charge of saving our grandmothers' lives, you know?
Yep.
And I could go on and on, but it really was a revelation, and I'm honored to be an honorary part of the community.
And what Randy demonstrates, of course, is what we all know, that sometimes this isn't a job, it's a way of life. And so, I mean, and you did that. Let me take you back to, obviously, you did some research coming into the movie. You went on a ride along in LA. And, you know, what was the one sort of biggest takeaway from sitting in with the crew on the truck, possibly on a call? What did you pick up just from that experience alone?
Well, one thing I never thought of, maybe stupidly so, is how vulnerable everything is, because you're going into people's homes and they're in crisis and they're inviting you in, and you see their bath towels on the floor, and you see their piles of laundry and their high school yearbook photos and the macaroni and cheese in the kitchen, and you're just in people's lives. Yep. You know, and you're seeing them oftentimes at their very worst. And it really got my heart to kind of witness that. For the firemen that we rode along with in South Central LA, I had no idea that they were relied on for so much, because people talk about South Central being a food desert. It's also a healthcare desert. Yep. They've shut down all the hospitals. There's no walk-in clinics. There's barely any doctors around. So, they call 911 for most everything. You know, keys are locked in the car, or uncle forgot to take his meds, or bring my auntie to the emergency room. There was one call we had, and they called because every couple of nights this woman falls out of her bed, and they need 4 firemen to hoist her back into bed because she weighs about 500 pounds. And these are the kind of roles that these firemen, responders, medics are dealing with multiple dozens and dozens of times a night. The alarm was always going off. I know some fire stations, they sit there, it's pretty cushy. This one wasn't. So I learned a ton. Yep. You know, I learned a ton just about the world.
So in technical jargon, Rainn, the station that doesn't go out, we actually call it the Olympic Flame Station, because it never goes out. So you can use that in your next movie.
Lexipol empowers first responders and public servants to best meet the needs of their residents safely and responsibly. Serving more than 2 million public safety and government professionals in over 8,000 agencies and municipalities, Lexipol offers a range of solutions that includes policies, training, behavioral health resources, news and analysis, and grant assistance services for law enforcement, fire and rescue, EMS, local government, and other agencies dedicated to public safety. To learn more, visit lexipol.com. That's LEXIPOL.com.
You are senior, you get the student.
No.
Is there another paramedic I should put them with? Somebody better than you?
Nobody's better than me.
Let's hit it.
Why are you here?
Because I want to save lives. You have people's lives in your hands. How can you not care?
I'm burning out. The whole system is broken. I need the hell out of EMS. I'm quitting. That's it. I'm out of here.
Please don't go out like this.
You gonna miss me? We're just co-workers, man. You act like I'm like your best friend. Damn it, I'm his best friend.
Can you feel the... I got into EMS because I really wanted to help people.
Officers, we've got this totally under control.
But this is a job.
Oh, come on, come on!
You clock in, you clock out.
I don't think you really believe that.
Can you feel the...
I'm the President of the United States!
Mr. President, let's take a service, man. We're here to evacuate you and take you to the White House.
What about the First Lady and the Vice President?
We're going to send a second chopper.
And we're back. Please make sure that you like and subscribe wherever you get your podcast or vodcast from. Remember, we are on all the podcast channels and also on the EMS One YouTube channel. So let's go back to my interview with Rainn Wilson. Now, of course, Dwight was an expert at CPR, but of course, you've now done the course and you've got your card, right? First of all.
That's right. I'm going to be honest with you, Rob.
Yeah.
I didn't finish filling out the thing for my card. I did the course.
Okay, you've done the class. That's the important bit.
I didn't get the card, but frankly, that was now 2 years ago. I need to take it all again because I need a big, serious refresher.
But in terms, and here comes a future PSA perhaps, but in terms of pushing hard and fast on the chest until help arrives, it's not that difficult, is it?
Well, yes and no.
Okay.
Yeah. No. You're just doing staying alive on the chest, but you've got to push hard enough and perhaps break some ribs if the need be, with the urgency. And, so in certain technical terms, no, it's not that hard, but you also have a person's life in your hands, and that's really fucking hard.
It is. Now, it was kind of a leading question because what we're trying to do is to get everybody to learn CPR because it's a very first response skill, and actually by you going through that training, I think really will help people understand that you need to do it. Something that Patrick
I think Rob.
Yep.
No one should be allowed to graduate from high school without their kind of basic CPR training.
Thank you very much for segueing into the fact that next year the California Ambulance Association is running legislation in California because it's not California-wide that kids shall graduate without doing CPR. And so we're about to change that. So thank you for bringing that up because that's something that we're working on right now. So that's a great point.
The thing that was very fascinating to me as well was like, wow, our bodies are sacks we have a pump and we have a gallows, a bellows, right? And then we've got a bunch of liquid sloshing around. And if you keep the pump going and you keep the bellows going and you keep the liquid going, like that's how bodies work. That's basically it.
Yep.
We're essentially a tube and a pump.
It's either mechanical, hydraulic, electrical, or carpentry. That's pretty much where we are. But going into the filming, obviously, you had to learn a lot of procedures. And the first thing, and I suffer from this, and a lot of other medics suffer from this, I scream at TV shows when they get the medicine wrong, when you're not wearing gloves, or when the monitor says this person is absolutely fine, but yet they're portrayed as being very, very ill. I know that Patrick and the folk on set had to choreograph you through that, and obviously got the medicine right. And was that easy to follow, or did you have to do a lot of sort of rehearsal to get the medicine right?
Yeah, it was a lot of rehearsal. Those gurneys, getting them off and on the ambulance is so hard, and I still fumbled with it. It was, they make it look, you all make it look so easy. It's really challenging. But yeah, we had Patrick there to yell at us like, no, you would never hold it in this hand. You would hold this and you would hold it like this and you would have the thing around the thing and you'd, I was like, oh, okay. But I think it was super important to him and to the director that we captured everything about EMS, the tone, the vibe, the gallows humor, certainly all the technical medical elements, the burnout, the camaraderie, the idea that there's a mission here that people are undertaking to save lives. They do it because they love it and they're good at it and they're good at saving lives. God bless you all. It was beautiful.
Thank you, and I'll pass it on. And actually, before I go on to my next question, I actually have Patrick on record, on recording, telling me the amount of times that he yelled gloves at you, Amy, and Rel in order to have that continuity. So
that's right.
And again, it's one of those other things that we always shout at the TV at as well. Where's the gloves on the photo? So now, of course, in my review, when I watched the movie, when I met Christopher Leone at the cast and crew screening down in LA, of course, one of the things we talked about was this is light, this is dark, this is funny, this is serious, but it also has the message about the fact that medics do get exhausted, do burn out. And you, again, portrayed that very, very well. It's an issue for us as much as anybody else. But, what did you learn from that experience of portraying Randy in those moments?
Well, I think that there are certain professions in contemporary American society that are really mistreated. I have a dear friend of mine who's a elementary school teacher, and my mother-in-law, and I have a lot of teachers in the family, and I feel like that's one where they're kind of underpaid, underappreciated, really long, expected to be there, answer emails, meet with parents 12 hours a day, doing piles of homework. And I feel like frontline workers, medics, EMS are the same way. And I'm really glad that this is being looked at, because what I pick up on is that for many decades, it wasn't really addressed. It was like, suck it up, but you're in the trenches. It's like being in war, and there's a lot of PTSD. You're seeing blood, you're seeing people die, you're getting thrown up on, you're in potentially violent situations, you're getting shot at. It's like you're a war medic, especially when you're working in a larger city. And the mental health aspect really needs to be honored. I don't know how, besides paying folks more, having more vacation days, more perks on the job, I'm not sure how that works. I think, that some of these companies could provide, free therapy. I don't know what the medical healthcare is like for healthcare workers. That's another question.
No, we all have employee assistance programs, which is a great thing. Talking about funding, I really enjoyed the plot devices you used, as you mentioned, breaking the fourth wall, the ticker tape coming up to talk about how the relative earnings of various healthcare professionals. It may surprise you to learn, Rainn, that this time last week, I was actually on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C., advocating and legislating with our folk that we put on the Hill to say not only do we need more money, we actually need to keep the money you've already given us, because there's some potential to take it away, particularly for rural and super rural areas. Yeah. And so what you've done for us, and for me particularly, is you've created memes that I can use when I'm up on the Hill legislating to say, listen, this is one of our very respected, Hollywood actors telling you what you need to hear, which is the fact that please don't take any Medicare, Medicaid, Medi-Cal away from us, because what it means is A, we can't pass through that to pay people, and B, if we go out of business, particularly in California, 75% private ambulance services under contract could go out of business, and then we're going to create even more of what you talked about, those ambulance and hospital deserts. And so you made an important point, and one that we're certainly going to pick up on and use to help us lead the charge. So thank you for giving us the platform to do that.
Wonderful. I love that. I think just show them that scene where all the salaries are shown, and then the paramedics are making less than the head custodian. It's
a fact. Obviously, in some areas, cost of living is a little bit higher, but you make an elegant point, and one that we're going to use. One of the things that I kind of winced at, but actually it's a necessary evil, is, of course, our hospital-based colleagues are under the same level of pressures to move people in, to get them through, to get them out. And I felt that the illustration in the movie again helped them tell their part of the story as well. And I think again that's Rob Riggle played the sort of the ED guy well, but actually what I certainly got from it was the fact that they're under as much stress as we are, but just the volume of stuff that's coming through.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite parts of the movie, is that Rob Riggle as Dr. Serrano, he's just a total asshole from get-go, and demeaning to the guys in the ambulance and the EMTs, and then you get to see him in the break room later, and you see what he's under. And he's like, you're dealing with one patient at a time. Like, I've got 30 beds full I've got to deal with. Yep. I've got to process them ever faster. And there's 130 more waiting outside to take those beds. Like it never ends. And even though it was a tiny little scene, I think it's one of the most important scenes in the movie that kind of peels back the veil on what ER workers and doctors are up against.
And actually, I've already stolen a line, one of Rob Riggle's lines. I've just got to go back to never being done. And that pretty much sums up everything for us. And so we're never done. There's never nothing to do. It always goes on. Now that the movie's out, it's in selected cinemas. I hope it's going to go to streaming sometime soon, because again, one of the things that people are now saying is I can't drive 1,000 miles to see it. So we hope it comes to streaming soon. So there's a fingers crossed on that. But now that it's all done and dusted for you, Rainn, what's your abiding memory of being part of and again, obviously you're working probably on your next project, but what's the sort of the thing that you will cherish from having been a part of our life for this short time?
Well, it was an honor to learn about this world and to make a movie that these workers are excited about and proud of. And I know how this works. And, I'm probably going to be stopped 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, even when I'm an old man with a walker, and like, thank you for doing that movie. Thank you for shedding some light on what we're up against. But I do want to say too, Rob, the movie's funny. We've talked all about these serious elements.
Yes, we have.
But it is essentially a comedy and very entertaining. So, EMS workers and medics can bring their family along and have a good old time with a bucket of popcorn. And it'll eventually, I think in 2 weeks, it'll be on video on demand on streaming. So on Amazon or Apple.
That's exciting to know.
I don't buy it or rent it for a pittance, and you'll get to see it there. At some point, it'll be on a free streaming service. I'm not sure.
That's great. And you make a great point that again, as I noted in my review, that I did laugh out loud. Amy being told not to run eventually gets the big trip up, and I can tell you we've all been there. So again, you capture those moments, and like Rel, your crewmate after 24 hours on the truck, your crewmate intimately, and that person becomes your de facto best friend, and you capture that too, and it's life on the street. So thank you. Before we go, Rainn, is there a message that you want to give to the EMS community out there that are watching and listening to this?
I want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you for your work. And I think it's grossly underappreciated, but America needs you. Keep saving lives.
Thank you very much. Very wise words indeed. Rainn, it's been an honor to chat to you. Thank you for portraying Randy, and obviously to the cast. And we've already heard from Patrick on the EMS One-Stop, and just excited to have you on. And again, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
And Rob, you've been here long enough. You can drop the fake British accent now. It's time to let that go. So
I have
you're
to
not
say,
anyone.
I was added by Rainn Wilson live on EMS One.
Okay, forget it. Go back. Stop. No, my ears.
My dear chap, thank you very much. No, and
thanks, Rob.
Thank you, sir, and hopefully we'll talk again sometime in the future.
Thanks for what you do. Good luck out there.
Cheers, man.
Bye.
All the best. Well, that was amazing. I'm very, very grateful to Rainn and also to Wayfarer Studios and Aura Entertainment for letting me be a little bit on the inside of this one. So thank you all. But of course, thank you to Rainn Wilson. Please remember to like and subscribe. I've been Rob Lawrence. He was Rainn Wilson. And until next time, bye for now.